So, can you achieve the same athletic performance and overall health on a vegetarian based diet as you could on an omnivorous or a diet with regular meat consumption? Well, before I go into that in details and we find that answer, I first want you to think about animals in nature. I want you to think about elephants, how big and amazing and strong those are, and rhinos and hippos and bison, and we can go on and on and on about these animals in nature that literally all day long they just graze and eat grass and have vegetarian based diets. Now, I understand that humans are considered omnivores and we're also in the top of our food chains, but that does not mean that we have to eat meat in order to survive, right? And do we even need meat, or at least need to eat it consistently to have peak physical performance and overall health? In fact, many people's first impression of hearing about an athlete having a vegetarian diet is that it must be harder to perform, right? The reality is people with vegetarian diets do not have to compromise athletic performance, and their diet can actually lead to potentially increased cardiovascular fitness, which is actually proven to be higher in vegetarians than in omnivores in some cases, right? So many people, whether or not you're vegetarian or have a vegetarian-based diet, a big question is, do we have the nutrients, right? So when it comes to a vegetarian-based diet, right, it's a very common concern is, are we getting enough vitamin D, calcium, B12, iron? And there was actually a study in 2019 conducted by Nebel, Strobe, and Structor, and they found out that actually during the span of the test that both the vegetarian-based diet people and those on the regular omnivorous-based diets actually showed, very similar results. All groups had adequate amounts of B12, adequate amount of iron, vitamin D, calcium, and this research showed that with proper planning, and again, I can't stress that this has to become proper planning, and the use of supplements, vegetarians and even more importantly, even vegans in their diets can provide satisfactory amounts of nutrients, as omnivores, right? Could be neck and neck right there with them, which would provide the requirement for, obviously, for endurance runners. So adhering to the vegetarian or vegetarian diet is comparable, if not potentially superior, to a meat eating diet. For endurance runners, if well planned, again, I think that's one of the big takeaways here is this has to be well planned, that you could achieve the same, sometimes even potentially superior athletic performance to those on an omnivorous diet. And here are some things that are proven through vegetarian diets opposed to the others. So vegetarians tend to weigh less, and in terms of running a marathon or endurance running, the less you weigh, the bigger advantage that is, right? Also, vegetarians tend, on average, to make better food choices to sustain a better overall health, right? They avoid saturated fats more often, sweeteners, foods high in cholesterol. Therefore, they are less prone to cardiovascular diseases. So, what is commit to a vegetarian diet for a short 3-month period, and let's see what happens. Thank you.